What's up, people? It's your girl Adiola. So much has happened since the shooting at Lekki Gate in Lagos. You have a group of people who said that there was absolutely no shooting at all at Lekki Gate, that it was all made up. In fact, they're calling all the videos photoshopped. As a matter of fact, the Nigerian army till now says that there was no shooting at all. But it's not just the Nigerian army. Some Nigerians believe that it was all made up. And then you have a group of people who said that yes, there was a shooting, but it wasn't a massacre. And this is where a lot of government officials stand. They said, yes, there was a shooting, but the army was only shooting in the air. The only problem is we have tons of video evidence that protesters sustained gun injuries.
Where did they shoot him?
I have to get a tag.
On the tag,
yes. So the big blood vessel there that supplies blood to his whole leg. Burst up, I was bleeding in the chest and lungs. We lost one who was shot in the house. He came in there.
He said, I told you that I needed help here and I had to drag him here.
Yes.
Yesterday I conveyed about 20 people to different hospitals.
I don't know if you had that doctor saying that one person died upon arrival.
We lost one who was shot in the house. He came in there.
And then we have this guy with gunshot to his chest.
The soldier at Lekki, we know that one, don't worry. Was the one that shot me there. So they take me to different hospitals. They reject me. Then, before I was lucky, they received me here.
Now, for those who may be wondering why they were trying to censor him when he was saying that he was shot by soldiers, it's because of the fear of soldiers going after him at the hospital, because some people say that soldiers may still go after him at the hospital, especially since soldiers are saying that they didn't shoot anybody. Now, this one is a bit graphic, so I would blur some of it.
On the fuck NBC system. You shoot people's kids, you brought the army to shoot them.
Nobody challenged him.
It's okay. It's okay. I have two people in my car that were shot by the army. Don't let him sleep. Don't let him sleep. Keep him awake. Keep talking to him. Keep talking to him.
Anyway, despite all that evidence, the Nigerian government insists that the army was only shooting in the air, not at the people. Although, if you look at one of the videos that was circulating at the time, this particular video, if you look at the shooting pattern, pay attention to the direction of the muzzle flash. That is the spark of the gun. I mean, I see at least one gun pointing up, shooting up, and another one pointing straight forward. Maybe that's just me. Anyway, the government is upset that we call it a massacre. They said that despite people being shot or people being hit by bullets as the army was shooting to the air, according to them, they said that nobody died, and so it wasn't a massacre. So the government said nobody died at the scene of the shooting. According to the government of Lagos State, they said only 2 people died, and those people did not die because of gunshot. They said those people died because of trauma. Meanwhile, some of the protesters said that soldiers were putting bodies in their van, which is hard because the same soldiers denied shooting at all. So it's like the government's word versus protesters' words. The government is saying that if anyone was killed that time, that by now their family members would have made it known. So the government says that they are carrying out their investigation of what happened at Lekki. Although since they said that the cameras were not removed, you know, they're saying it's the plate license reader that was removed. I'm not sure why the government has not released the footage from their cameras that they said were not removed. But at least we can start from there. Release the CCTV footage. So they said they set up a panel to investigate. I'm not sure why it is politicians that do investigations in Nigeria. I'm like, why not hire professionals? I mean, did you guys see the video of the former governor of Lagos, now Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, my father? Yeah, welcome to this program. Did you guys not see the video of him investigating the scene of the shooting? What's that? What's that? I don't want to laugh, this is a serious issue, but Esa, what was that? Like, seriously? Why should politicians be the ones to investigate what happened? As you guys can trust Nigerians, they dragged the minister on Twitter, as in, they made him badges with his picture. They called him Jack Bauer, Sherlock Holmes, CIA. Oh my God! Oh, it's been real. They've even recreated their own version of Agent Babatunde Fashola investigating the scene. Nigerians are terrible. This person even went there to recreate the scene. Anyway, at some point, the minister found an old camcorder. Wow, the man is good. The man is good. I think someone took off his socks for him to pick up the camera. You need to see the way Nigerians reacted to this on Twitter.
Finally, at the Lekki Toll Plaza, where Mr. Babatunde Fashola believes he has found evidence that will be useful.
With Nigerians. Even Wikipedia updated his profile as detective or forensic analyst and politician. This is a serious issue, like I was saying. So why is the government making light of it by having politicians investigate? I don't know if you've noticed, but Nigerians don't necessarily trust politicians. Anyway, while politicians are investigating Lekki, the Nigerian government, through the National Broadcasting Corporation, has fined Channels TV, AIT, and Arise TV 9 million naira, 3 million naira each, for what they called unprofessional coverage of the NSAS protest. Wow. What does that even mean? You know, when this protest started, we were also hopeful, and we're still hopeful, that Nigeria would be better. At least the government felt the power of the people for the first time in a long time. But it's so unfortunate that even before the shooting at Lekki, that some young people would take money from politicians or the promise of getting paid to disrupt the protest. I mean, the thugs were young people. They were looting. They were setting protesters' cars on fire, which gave the government the excuse to attack real protesters in the name of going after thugs. And as you already know, the day after the shooting, there was mass looting. It baffles me that we, the people, would do this to ourselves. I mean, this is not the government. So many business owners lost everything. So many shops were looted, everything stolen. Even the mass transit buses were set on fire. Why? Media companies owned by Tinubu were set on fire. It's okay to have issues with Tinubu, but guess who lost their jobs? It's the young people that are working there. Whose money do you think Tinubu would use to rebuild? The money that the government of Lagos is supposed to use to develop Lagos. Soon they will say that they need it to rebuild Lagos. We are just doing ourselves. It's so ridiculous, because the looting didn't just happen in Lagos. Before you knew what was happening, the looting went to other parts of the country. You need to see business owners crying. The same mob, they killed people. In Lagos, they went to police headquarters. They burnt down their houses, their cars. They even stabbed some people. This is one of their victims, Ogejuku Obi Enahuze, whom they stabbed after burning their cars and stealing all that they had. He was trying to protect his mom and brother when he was stabbed. You know, our problem in Nigeria is not just bad governance. It's not just the politicians. We, the people, we're the ones sabotaging ourselves. We, the people, were our own problem. If those people hadn't been collecting money from politicians to disrupt the protests, that protest could have brought out real change in Nigeria. And to think that even after the shooting, that people would take advantage of that to loot other people's businesses is inconceivable. And we obviously have not united. If we're not uniting for a common cause, how are we supposed to see a change in Nigeria? And to think that a lot of people went out of their way to make this protest a success is just heartbreaking. I mean, look at the feminist coalition. They really tried. It's a group of women who came together because they all believe in equality of all human beings. And within 2 weeks, these women raised 147 million naira for the protest. That is $385,000, almost $400,000. And they kept putting out how the money was being spent for transparency. And besides the fact that they were using the money to feed protesters, they were also paying for medical care of people that had been injured, taking care of anyone who is a victim of SARS. They were spending millions of naira on legal aid to help release many young people that were illegally detained by SARS. They were buying new cars for protesters whose cars were burnt by hoodlums, and they were compensating family members of those that had been killed by the police. That is something that the government should have done. Which brings me to something very important. More people need to get involved in politics. A lot of hopes were raised when this protest started. And now so many Nigerians are tired. They're saying that people should just get their PVC ready for 2023 election. But I say, why wait till 2023? Why look forward to voting for another party? Why not be the one to make a change? So many young people are passionate about Nigeria. We see them on social media. We see them making a difference. But why not take a step further and get involved in politics? Yes, it doesn't have to be dirty if good people outweigh those that want to sabotage this country. If a lot of good people get in politics, and it's not by religious affiliate. I mean, as you guys know, right now we have an Alhaji as the president because Buhari has been to Mecca, so he's an Alhaji, and we have a pastor as vice president. Both of them are screwing us up. What we need are people with good intentions and people that will follow through with a good intention for Nigeria. I think we focus so much on changing the federal government, but I think we need to start from the grassroots. Our local representatives. There are so many Nigerians that don't even know the name of their local government chairman or local government chairperson. Not to talk about holding them accountable. You don't even know who your representatives are. Do you know that there are so many meetings that they do that are open to the public? And many of us have never been to any of these meetings. Also, a lot of Nigerians would celebrate a chairman or a local government chairman or a senator using their money to buy fancy cars because they don't even know that those officials are supposed to work for them. There's nothing wrong in young people starting their own political parties and rallying themselves to run for local government positions, local government chairperson or senators. We have to make the difference from the grassroots, which is why I admire all the young presidential candidates in the last election and someone like Natasha Akpoti who ran for Kogi governorship. I think we should be looking for how to get our own representatives at all levels of government, not just how to change party, because remember, APC, PDP, they are the same people. And you know why this is important? Because the old men in government today, no offense to them, but that was what they did. Obasanjo was 39 years old when he became head of state in 1976. Buhari was 33 years old when he became the governor of northeastern states in 1975. And then he was 41 when he became the head of state in Nigeria. I know that these were military regimes, but it's the same set of people and they are not ready to leave. You know, they say that our generation, that we don't have experience. We cannot get the experience if we don't do it. But they also didn't have experience, at least at the time. They were young. So when it comes to politics in Nigeria, you have to learn on the job. I don't think there's a way to get experience without being in politics. And we also desperately need women at all levels of government. Women who are passionate about Nigeria. Like the feminist coalition that I just mentioned. Look at all they did just within 2 weeks. So we need young people. We need women. We need you all to get involved in Nigerian politics. Now, one of the videos that broke my heart that I saw during this whole time that was circulating was one hospital rejecting victims from the Lekki shooting.
My brothers are going to loot. Can we take everything? We are sending you something. Malaria, is this malaria? So I brought him here. You rejected him. Well done. Take him to government hospital. Okay. You don't know. You are not. I am a gynecologist. You are not a gynecologist. Bring him, let's go.
I don't understand. I mean, how many people watch DJ Switch's live feed of the Lekki shooting? Because I watched it. At least 140,000 people were watching at the time that I was watching it. I saw ordinary people removing bullets from people's thighs, people's legs when the shooting was going on. I saw ordinary people removing bullets. So to now hear a doctor saying that he can't help, at the same time, they may be afraid of the military invading their hospital. I don't know. Or maybe he doesn't have the adequate equipment. I don't know. Either way, I wish he at least showed more empathy. I think all doctors at least know how to administer first aid, you know. The good thing is we still have some good hospitals in Nigeria. Like where this man was treated. He said that they didn't charge him a dime.
I was told that it's free. Yes.
Yeah, they did not collect one, they did not even know my people. They will take me to theater. They do this eating here so that the blood that is on my chest, they can bring it out. And that is what is passing through this pipe.
Wow. Thanks to that hospital. We so much appreciate you. We really, really appreciate you. Also, you know, it's one thing for the government not to believe or have any regards for the protesters, but it's more painful to see fellow Nigerians supporting the government, especially those saying that there was no shooting at Lekki at all. They said everything was photoshopped. So, and the reason it's sad is when something happens to people like that, people that are saying that Lekki shooting was made up, suddenly those same set of people want the entire world to care about them. But when they are not directly affected, they easily explain it away. In any case, Nigerian government continues to investigate. I personally think they can do us all a favor by releasing the footage of the CCTV that they said were still mounted at Lekki Gate. I think that will save us a lot of headache instead of politicians going to find camcorder. Anyway, you guys not doing much. Guess what? I'm just keeping it real. So the one good thing that came out of all of this is Nigerians discovering the warehouses where the government kept their COVID-19 palliatives.
We have wicked leaders. Wicked leaders, COVID-19 palliative foodstuffs. They stored it inside one warehouse. They are selling it. People now discovered and busted the warehouse. People are hungry and angry, see?
Come on!
A warehouse of 600 feet by 600 feet, full of COVID-19 products, was discovered today, and Nigerians were dying of hunger and starvation.
You know how long people have been complaining of hunger? Since they locked down, even before they locked down. And don't forget that this government, Buhari's government, increased the price of petrol and electricity, so the price of food jumped up overnight. The price of everything went up overnight. So even if they were keeping it this whole time, why not bring out all this food the moment the price of food increased overnight? Meanwhile, some people are defending the government that, well, they recently got the donations and they were just keeping them because they were working on logistics. I'm like, wow. Others say that they were trying to keep them to repackage and share as stomach infrastructure during the next election. Even policemen came with their vehicles to get food though. I'm telling you, people keep discovering these warehouses in different parts of the country. You have to be a wicked somebody to have this much food and not share it when people are hungry. The devil is a liar. Logistics or not, this is wrong. Meanwhile, you guys move closer. You remember our Mumu brother, Ben, the former presidential aspirant that we talked about, the one that announced that he was suing Twitter and its CEO, Jack Dorsey, for $1 billion. The man has come again. In a recent video, which he put out on this same Twitter that he's suing, by the way, the man spoke in Hausa, calling on northerners in Nigeria, both Christians and Muslims, to unite because, according to him, the NSAS movement is against northerners. He said that let's forget about whether Buhari is working or not. We need to protect the dignity of the North. And he ended by saying that whatever evil plans they have towards Nigeria, that is anybody else that is not from the North, he said that may God give us victory. So he's saying the whole NSAS movement is a movement against the North. Can you guys imagine this man? As in, thanks to entrepreneur and sex therapist, check her out, that is Hawa Saidu Mohammed, popularly known as Jaruma. Yes, my sister is a sex therapist. You guys need this thing. You just don't know that you need it. This lady confronted our Mumu brother in a phone conversation.
You said that even if Buhari isn't working, even if the country isn't working, we should stand united as northerners. But what you're telling northerners is you're telling northerners not to speak. You're telling northerners not to stand up for their rights. You're telling northerners to stand by Buhari and support. But that's what you said in the video. The video was in Hausa.
I'm like, wow, we need more northerners like this woman to stand up to this man. You know, he later tweeted that, well, even though the call was recorded without his consent, that he stands by every word that he said. I'm like, wow. NSAS is by no means a tribal issue. Everybody in Nigeria is affected. Anyone that is instigating violence because of that is an enemy of the people. Anyway, you guys not doing much. Guess what? I'm just keeping it real. South Africa, ladies and gentlemen, once again, our favorite man of God, that is a Prophet Bushiri, has been arrested. This is not the first time. This time he's been charged with fraud, theft, and money laundering. The man of God and his wife allegedly pocketed or stole or embezzled 102 million rands, that is about $6.3 million, through an investment scheme that they were running in their church. So they would tell people to invest at least 100,000 rands with the promise that they would get at least 50% increase within a few months. It's like MMM. I don't know if you guys remember, but this one is in the church. So they tell a lot of people to bring money that they would get money. So I guess some people may end up getting money and then some people don't get anything. I don't know how it works, but it was in the house of the Lord. Anyway, some people were complaining that they didn't get their investment, they didn't get their return, and they didn't get even the investment, the principal, they didn't get it. And suddenly they wanted justice. So when the man of God didn't do anything about it, they took the man to court. Meanwhile, so many of his church members continued to defend him.
I'm here to support my prophet and prophetess because I know they are not guilty. He is a prophet from above. He's a man of God. He's a real prophet of God.
Wow, wow.
He is not guilty because he's a man of God?
Not that he's a man of God, because they arrest him without evidence. Now they are postponing case because they are trying to find something that is not there.
As a matter of fact, they are saying that the man of God did not force anybody to come and invest, that investment is a risk, and so people should have expected that they may lose money. And these were some of the church members that invested money as well.
He's a businessman and a prophet. There's nothing wrong about it. It's not even him alone. There are a lot. But for many years in this country, there are many people who are doing worse things. You don't talk about that.
Now, for those of you who may think that they are hypnotized, they know what you guys have been saying about them, and they are saying it's not true.
These people, they undermine our intelligence. They think all these people, millions of people, they can be hypnotized by one man. There's no way. That is a foolish with capital and bold letter.
Thank you so much to my mother. Now, the interesting thing is, you guys remember Prophet Mumboro, also in South Africa? He's also a regular on this show, especially for helping couples to do it. If you're having problem, doing kiss. If you have problem and you go and see the man of God, he will help the couple to be able to do it. In fact, he will stay with them in the bedroom for them to do it in his presence so he can broadcast it live. Anyway, so this man of God, Prophet Mumboro, said that Bushiri was arrested because he intervened in the spiritual realm. Mumboro said that Bushiri had been accused of so many things with evidence.
People came to me showing proof how they were robbed and how all these things were done. Alleging rape, fraud, theft, money laundering, killing of people. So as a spiritual person, I had to get into a spiritual battle after warnings with him, after engagements, for these things to stop.
Wow. So he said that is why he had to go in the spirit to pray on behalf of the people that he will be arrested.
And I'm going to quote you as saying that you had to terminate certain powers in spirit to create an atmosphere that would make it possible for Shepherd Bushiri and his wife Mary to be arrested.
Well, this is a spiritual issue.
And he said that he's speaking out because the name of Jesus is being dragged in the mud.
My problem is, as I'm a prophet, and he's a prophet and everybody's, the name of Christ is now insulted. Christianity has become a mockery.
Now the question is, where do we draw the line? Because like Mumboro said, the idea of not calling out men of God when they do something wrong is the reason why so many of them are taking advantage of the people.
People are told, you touch him by mistake, you die by correction. If you touch the anointed man of God, God will punish you, God will do it. So this gives him power because he's a prophet. He can abuse anyone. Anyone who will, even the people who are going there, they are scared.
Okay, let me know what you guys think about that. You guys not don't know much. Guess what? I'm just keeping it real. Moving on to Tanzania, ladies and gentlemen, oh my God, it's been 5 years since President Magufuli became president, and now it's time for another election. The president started out doing well. I even made a video at that time talking about all the changes that he was bringing to Tanzania, only for him to gradually transform himself into a dictator where nobody could say anything against him. He arrested at least 17 opposition members and critics of his government. He also doesn't allow free campaigning or free movement of the opposition party. In fact, the electoral body has disqualified so many members of the opposition party.
His presidency have been marked by laws some have said are aimed at stifling the political and media space in the country. Many perceived opponents of the president have been arrested. and there are accusations of forced disappearances, while others say they are living in fear.
So the main opposition candidate is Tundu Lissu. He's a human rights campaigner and a lawyer for the past 2 decades. Also an opposition member who has been arrested by several governments for speaking out against them. Okay, so one of the cases against him in court was that he called Magufuli a dictator. So I don't know if you guys know this, but 3 years ago, Tundu was shot 16 times outside his house. 16 times by unknown gunmen. People believe that he was politically motivated, and so he was rushed out of the country. I have no idea how he survived that 16 bullets, but he did, and he's been in exile in Belgium since then. And guess what? This July he came back to Tanzania to run against Magufuli, and this was the day that he arrived in Tanzania.
Here is Tundu Lissu in the brown suit. Lissu left Tanzania 3 years ago after being shot 16 times by unknown assailants, and his supporters came out in their hundreds to welcome him back home from Belgium.
Wow. So he's now the main opposition running against the president. He was shot during the tenure of this same president, and he says that the president is trying so hard to suppress his campaign. There are concerns on whether the election that will be held on the 28th of this month would be free and fair, but we'll keep you guys posted. You guys know I don't know much. Guess what? I'm just keeping it real. Alright y'all, it's been real and I'm keeping it real right up in here. Thanks so much to everybody that have subscribed to this channel. If you're yet to subscribe, please click the subscribe button. It's right down below, and click the bell button so that you'll be notified whenever we upload a new video. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Until next time, I'm gonna see you all later. Peace out.